2 to the Lakers, a pick that his dad, LeVar, predicted, of course. Here's LeVar immediately after the pick.
I'm going to tell you what, Lonzo Ball is going to take the Lakers to the playoffs his first year. Come see me when he does. I have another hat on to say, I told you so.
Well, that prompted a couple of Sixers stars to tweet about LeVar and Lonzo. Ben Simmons writing, "Crazy pills," to which Joel Embiid responded, "Please dunk on him so hard his daddy runs on the court to save him." What do you think Lonzo is going to do in the league this year, Stephen A?
Oh, I think that he's going to have a Rookie of the Year caliber season. That's my personal prediction, because you got to remember, with the trade of D'Angelo Russell to the Brooklyn Nets by Magic Johnson and the Los Angeles Lakers, essentially what you've done is said, Lonzo Ball, here's the ball. The floor is yours. And so when you have the ball in your hands, and more importantly, your success isn't predicated on points per game production. Your game is predicated on how the team looks around you, your willingness to assist others to elevate their level of play, because you're the point guard. You're an extension of the coach on the floor. And you've got a young phenom coach like Luke Walton guiding you, along with Magic Johnson upstairs coming downstairs to practice and what have you. I think Lonzo Ball can end up being an elite point guard in this game. It's going to take some time. He is going to get thoroughly abused on the defensive end of the floor because he's too light in the you-know-what, not to mention the fact that he wasn't a stout defensive player to begin with, but he has legitimate 6'5", 6'6" size on him. He's got ball handling skills. He's incredibly unselfish. His basketball IQ is high. He's an excellent passer. He has tremendous court vision. All of those things are going to lend itself towards elevating the level of excitement in Los Angeles, and because of that, you're going to pay attention to him. That's not to say he's going to be Rookie of the Year. He'll be in the running. I don't think that he'll have a horrible, disappointing season. I think that he's going to show flashes of very impressive play, particularly as a point guard, but more importantly, he's going to have the folks in Los Angeles excited about the direction of this franchise. That in and of itself is a plus, and I think that's going to lend itself towards him being given a lot of credit for whatever modicum of success the Los Angeles Lakers are willing to achieve. His father is sticking, he's saying a lot, but you got to give him credit where credit is due. He wanted his son to be a Laker. He said so before the Lakers positioned themselves to get the #2 overall pick in the draft. He was very hopeful that his son was going to be a Laker. He essentially spoke it into existence. It has happened. Give the man credit where it's due in that regard. I think Lonzo Ball is going to have a good season, Max.
What kind of season is Lonzo Ball going to have? How's this? A high-usage season. So a rookie with a high-usage season who, as Stephen A. Smith, you just pointed out, doesn't need to put up a lot of points in order to be considered a success. I think he's going to be the Rookie of the Year. Also consider, you mentioned it, hey, the floor is yours, here's the ball, Lonzo Ball. When Magic Johnson, an oversized point guard and the greatest of all time at the position, gives you the keys and says, here, you are going to steer the franchise right now. It reminds me of what we just saw in the NFL with rookie quarterbacks who went 1 and 2, Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. Goff went to a situation where his head coach didn't know anything about quarterbacks. None of the coaches around him really did. He didn't. So it's not just that Wentz is better than Goff. It's that Goff went to a place that wasn't right for him. It wasn't the right environment for him to be the best version of himself. Whereas Wentz, who I think is also better, went to a place where his head coach, all the assistant coaches, everyone around him used to play quarterback. They knew exactly what they needed to do with a young quarterback, and it was kind of an enriching, nourishing environment for a young quarterback, and you see the difference. So it's not just that I think Lonzo Ball has the goods in many respects. It's that he's in the perfect situation, to get the most out of his ability, and certainly to look early on in terms of the stat sheet like he's getting the most out of his ability. And then consider guys like Fultz. They're not the primary ball handler. They need someone to get them the ball. They're playing without the ball a lot of the times. Lonzo's playing with the ball. And because of his broad base of skills, it's not just, well, can he get his shot off and can he hit the outside shot, and is he going to have to make that adjustment for the league? He can also rebound the ball. He's obviously a great passer, and unlike Stephen A., and you brought this up the other day, D'Angelo Russell, who has, I think, next-level court vision and is a brilliant passer as well, Lonzo Ball has the attitude of a point guard. Stephen A., what did you tell me the other day that Larry Brown used to tell you about the point guard position?
Well, I've tried to educate you on many occasions. You rarely listen. But what point are you alluding to, Max Kellerman?
You're talking about that the point guard not only needs to know what he's going to do, he needs to know what everybody else is going to do as well.
That's the job of a point guard.
That's a responsibility, it seemed. Right, that's the responsibility, it seemed, that while superficially D'Angelo Russell had all the requisite skills of a point guard, when you go a little deeper, you see that the mentality might not have been there. But that certainly seems to be Lonzo Ball's mentality. He wants to drive the ship, and more than that, wants to steer the ship. That is important to him. That's what he does. And so when you clear out the guard position, it's not just D'Angelo Russell. Remember, they traded Lou Williams last season at the deadline. Nick Young just opted out. They don't even have a lot of guards. And Jordan Clarkson really has more of a two-guard mentality than a one-guard, than a point guard. So very much so, here are the keys, Lonzo Ball. You're going to be used a lot, and we're going to put you in a position to do what you do best. Whatever he does in his career remains to be seen. Does he have the requisite athleticism? Can he play defense? Can he score the ball the way De'Aaron Fox torched him in the tournament, both sides of the floor? These are legitimate questions. But in terms of how he's going to appear his rookie year, he will appear to be a success his rookie year. That is my prediction.
Well, I will say this. The reason why I'm not definitive in labeling him the imminent rookie of the year to be is because of De'Aaron Fox. You got to remember, he's going to be handed the keys to the city of Sacramento. And De'Aaron Fox can ball. His athleticism, his speed and quickness. He's heady. He's smart. He's a winner. He destroyed Lonzo and UCLA when they faced against one another in the NCAA tournament. They're not only within the same conference, they're in the same division within the Western Conference, which is the Pacific Division. All of those things resonate. Him with Buddy Hield and the youth movement that that the Sacramento Kings are engaging in, acquiring Harry Giles as well, who, if healthy, people are expecting big things from him.
Great pickup.
So you got to look at it from the perspective that De'Aaron Fox is going to be within that same division with a team that's just as bad as the Lakers, who have just as much to prove and looking for just as much ascension as the Los Angeles Lakers, and they're playing on an even playing field because Lonzo doesn't have that much more talent to work with, any more so than De'Aaron Fox does in Sacramento. So those are the things that I will keep an eye on. They're in the same situation in terms of requisite talent that they're playing within the same division and within the same conference, both having the keys to their respective cities, both playing the same position, and eyes on both of them because even though everybody knew that L.A. had to take Lonzo because he's a UCLA product, he's a Cali product, and he's emblematic of the kind of basketball that Magic Johnson wants to implement. The bottom line is you had a lot of folks looking at De'Aaron Fox and saying that this kid potentially has star written all over him as well. So with that being said, when you're watching one, you're going to be forced to watch the others. Obviously, more eyeballs are going to be on the Lakers as opposed to being on the Sacramento Kings. But De'Aaron Fox and Lonzo, it will force you to pay attention to both of them.
De'Aaron Fox, I agree with you, I think he's the best player in the draft. I mean, if I had the #1 pick, almost no matter what I needed, I would have taken De'Aaron Fox. The one thing you want to see from him is the outside shot. But as we know, as we've seen, history has shown us a million examples, you can actually acquire that. You can become a good enough shooter even if you can't shoot at all. And De'Aaron Fox told us that was abnormal for him last year. And what else do you want? Like,
you and I have a different opinion about that.
He has the athletic...
You and I have a different opinion. Exactly. Why? Because I see too many construction workers, a.k.a. bricklayers, in the NBA over the years. Don't tell me that anybody can learn how to shoot. There's a whole bunch of people that can't shoot. That's why Boston drafted Tatum with #3 overall, because a whole bunch of non-shooters on their squad.
I'm not saying anyone can learn how to shoot. I'm saying it is an acquirable skill for many. And I think De'Aaron Fox, given the rest of his game, I think there's a good chance he acquires that skill, and if and when he does, that's the best player in the draft. He is lightning fast, and I think he comes into the league ready. And by the way, you mentioned the head-to-head stuff with Lonzo Ball on the biggest stage. He torched Lonzo both ends of the floor, and that's big. But I will remind people, remember how Darren Williams used to get Chris Paul going head-to-head. We all knew Chris Paul was better, but head-to-head, Darren Williams was a lot for him. But just because you get a guy head-to-head doesn't mean you will be perceived as the better player. And De'Aaron Fox can torch Lonzo every time they play together against each other, and Lonzo can still wind up with the Rookie of the Year.
No doubt, if healthy, Ball